Picture this. It's the year 2000, and it's a Friday night. The air is alive with the promise of the weekend ahead. You step into the world of Blockbuster, a place where movie magic awaited at every turn. The moment you cross the threshold, the familiar fragrance of freshly popped popcorn mingled with the aroma of plastic box covers instantly caught your senses. Before you stretched endless walls filled with movie cases, each one a gateway to a different world. Your fingers would dance along the spines of countless movie titles, your eyes scanning vibrant cover art that held the promise of adventure, laughter, and maybe a few tears. Time melted away as you plucked one movie after another, considering the possibilities each one held. As you wandered through the store, your fellow movie enthusiasts were doing the same. Knowing nods were exchanged, smiles shared in silent camaraderie. Some customers were deep in conversation, engaged in friendly debates about the best picks for the night. Others were there alone, fully immersing themselves in the process of choosing the perfect films to accompany them. Sometimes, you'd hold on to several options, meticulously curating your movie lineup for the weekend. Choosing the right movies was an art form. This was an era before Netflix, where decisions couldn't be made in the comfort of your living room. There was no scrolling through endless options, no watching trailers before deciding. If you didn't make the right choice, you were stuck with it for the night. Your choice had to be just right. A movie worthy of your precious weekend hours. Sure, you had the option of checking the TV guide and watching whatever was on television, but that came with its own set of challenges. If you missed the beginning of a movie, tough luck, you couldn't rewind it. And don't even get started on those infuriating commercial breaks that seem to interrupt the most suspenseful moments. By stepping into Blockbuster, you took control of your movie night. You held the power to choose what you watched, when you watched it, and even how you watched it. No commercials, no interruptions. It was a feeling of empowerment, a sense that your movie night was in your hands. There were other movie rental places that tried to replicate the Blockbuster experience, but they never quite captured that special feeling that washed over you when you walked into a Blockbuster store. There was an aura of nostalgia, a sense of familiarity that no other place could recreate. It wasn't just about renting movies. It was about the experience and the feeling it gave you. And then, almost as if overnight, it all came crashing down. The iconic blue and yellow sign that once stood proudly on street corners suddenly began to fade, one store at a time. The aisles that had once buzzed with excitement grew silent. The shelves that held endless movie dreams now stood empty. The era of Blockbuster had reached its final chapter. The rise and fall of Blockbuster is a tale of a business that revolutionized the movie industry, only to find its name diminished to the realm of jokes in the years that followed. But how did Blockbuster become a household name in such a short time period? And even more intriguing, how did they fall as swiftly as they rose? But hold on. Pause for just a moment. I could already hear you thinking, I already know why. It's because of online streaming services like Netflix. But what if I told you that the truth behind Blockbuster's downfall is far more interesting? It wasn't the imminent rise of streaming services that killed Blockbuster. Rather, a far more profound factor was at play, one that would alter the trajectory of both Blockbuster and the entertainment industry forever. Join us as we journey through the highs and lows of a company that left an indelible mark on our culture. From its humble beginnings to its ultimate demise, let's rewind the tape and explore the rise and fall of Blockbuster, a story that captures the essence of an era gone by. In 1978, a guy named David Cook founded a company called David P. Cook & Associates. The company primarily provided software services to the oil and gas industries in Texas. While it started off well, the energy crisis in the 1970s led to an oil surplus and the subsequent 1980s oil glut. David Cook, seeing these sudden changes in demand for oil, began exploring other business opportunities. In the beginning of the 80s, a new trend had emerged, revolutionizing how people experienced entertainment. The rise of VHS, video home systems, opened up exciting possibilities, allowing individuals to enjoy movies from the comfort of their own homes. David's wife Sandy, who was a big movie enthusiast, encouraged him to look into the options for a video rental service. As David explored the options of renting out VHS tapes, he noticed that there wasn't a clear leading company in the industry. Many stores were small, family-owned businesses that offered a very limited choice of movies. VHS tapes were quite expensive back then, so if a store wanted to have a big selection of movies available, it would require a significant amount of capital. Money that the current stores on the market just didn't have. Cook also noticed that all these stores kept the movies behind the counter to prevent theft. Each title had to be hand-fetched and signed for by the customer. This wasn't just highly inefficient, it also wasn't very customer-friendly. The customers didn't really have an option to explore the available movie titles. Cook, having an experienced background in software and working with big amounts of data, saw an opportunity to streamline the operations by creating a computerized system for inventory control and checkout. He went to work, and in 1985, in Dallas, Texas, he opened his first video rental store. The name of the store? You guessed it, Blockbuster. The store boasted an extensive inventory of movies, carefully organized and displayed on shelves that seemed to stretch infinitely. The amount of movies available was impressive, and customers found themselves immersed in a treasure trove of cinematic options. This innovation was a defining feature of Blockbuster's model, offering a unique collection that matched the different preferences of its customers. Another key element that set Blockbuster apart was its emphasis on new releases. Cook recognized that customers were eager to watch the latest films, and he capitalized on this demand by ensuring that the store stocked multiple copies of new releases. This strategic approach created a sense of urgency among customers to rent the latest blockbusters before they were all snapped up. The concept of guaranteed availability was born, and it became a signature of the Blockbuster experience. In addition to its vast selection and focus on new releases, Blockbuster introduced the concept of a membership program. Customers could sign up for a membership that allowed them to rent movies at a discounted rate. This innovative approach incentivized repeat visits and fostered customer loyalty. But Blockbuster's success was not solely built on its unique business model. It was also fueled by the experience it offered. Walking into a Blockbuster store felt like stepping into a cinematic wonderland. The bright lights, the alluring movie covers, and the promise of movie magic created an atmosphere that was both exciting and nostalgic. The birth of Blockbuster marked the beginning of a new era in entertainment, one that transformed the way people consumed movies. David Cook's vision had become a reality, and the widespread impact of Blockbuster's revolutionary approach would soon shape the future of the entire industry. The first Blockbuster store was an instant hit. The immense amount of people coming to the store was beyond what Cook ever imagined. By the summer of 1986, Cook had expanded the Blockbuster concept to 3 additional stores. Besides the huge selection of movie titles, another reason for its success was the practice of stocking multiple copies of popular films. This seemingly simple strategy had a profound impact on the rental experience. By ensuring that several copies of hit movies were readily available, Blockbuster effectively eliminated the frustration of customers arriving only to find their desired film unavailable. This approach resonated with movie enthusiasts who sought the latest releases or classic favorites without the disappointment of missing out. The combination of these innovative practices transformed the act of renting movies into a seamless and enjoyable experience. Blockbuster's approach was not just about transactions. It was about delivering convenience, choice, and value to its customers. But despite the huge success of Blockbuster's concept, the business required a lot of capital and ended the year 1986 with over $3 million in loss. To inject the company with much needed money, Cook decided to sell a big portion of his shares to a group of investors. One of them was Wayne Huizenga, an experienced investor who co-founded the company Waste Management, a company which grew out to be the largest garbage disposal business in the world. In total, the group purchased around $18.6 million in Blockbuster stock. As a result of this move, Cook basically handed over control of the company to Huizenga. And while Cook envisioned a franchising model to expand the concept, Huizenga aimed for an approach in which the company itself owned the stores. Just 2 months later, Cook decided to leave the company. With Huizenga at the helm and the concept of the video rental store firmly established, Blockbuster embarked on a remarkable journey of rapid expansion and innovation that would reshape the landscape of movie rentals. Blockbuster's expansion strategy was characterized by opening up as many new locations as possible and doing it in a record time. They bought back a bunch of franchise stores and even started buying up rivaling companies. The speed at which they opened up new stores was so high that they basically opened up one new store each day. As Blockbuster expanded its footprint across neighborhoods and cities, it brought a distinctive in-store experience that would forever change the way people rented and enjoyed movies. The iconic blue and yellow signage of Blockbuster stores became a beacon of cinematic delight for movie enthusiasts of all ages. Walking into a Blockbuster store was like stepping into a realm of entertainment possibilities. The walls that were filled with colorful movie posters created a visual symphony, showcasing an impressive lineup of all sorts of films. Each movie poster told a story of its own, enticing customers to explore and indulge in a diverse range of cinematic adventures. The rows upon rows of neatly organized movie sections offered a sense of order amidst the bustling excitement, inviting customers to embark on a journey of movie discovery. Beyond the physical layout, it was the human touch that truly made the Blockbuster experience unforgettable. Customer service took center stage as dedicated store employees provided assistance, recommendations, and a personal touch that went beyond transactional interactions. The role of the store employee extended beyond simply checking out movies. They were personal movie guides and fellow enthusiasts who shared their insights and recommendations based on your individual preferences. While these personal recommendations don't seem so unique or important right now, you have to remember they were the only guidance you had back then. In a time before algorithms and digital platforms, store employees were the real-life algorithms, offering tailored movie suggestions based on customers' tastes and interests. Whether you were in the mood for an action-packed adventure, a heartwarming romance, or a spine-chilling thriller, the Blockbuster staff had your back. These interactions fostered a sense of community within the store, a place where customers could strike up conversations with employees, exchange thoughts on their favorite films, and engage in discussions about upcoming releases. The human element of Blockbuster elevated the experience from a mere and meaningless transaction to a memorable and social journey through the world of cinema. The focus on customer service and personal recommendations created a sense of trust and loyalty between Blockbuster and its clients. Customers not only relied on Blockbuster for their movie rental needs, but also for an immersive experience that was tailored to their preferences and curiosities. This approach transformed the act of renting movies into a shared passion, a bridge connecting movie lovers and movie magic, all under one roof. As Blockbuster soared to unmatched heights, the world of entertainment continued to evolve, introducing new players and technologies that would challenge the company's dominance. The emergence of DVDs, along with innovative rental models, posed both opportunities and threats that would ultimately reshape the landscape of movie rentals. The introduction of DVDs brought a new level of convenience and quality to the market. DVDs were more durable, compact, and offered enhanced audio and video quality compared to their VHS counterparts. This advancement presented an appealing reason for consumers to switch from VHS to DVDs, and it didn't take long for DVD players to become household staples. Blockbuster recognized the shift and adapted its rental offerings to include DVDs, enabling customers to experience movies in a whole new way. However, a new contender was quietly making its mark in the rental industry: Netflix. Launched in 1997, Netflix initially operated as a DVD rental-by-mail service, allowing subscribers to rent DVDs online and have them delivered to their homes. This innovative approach provided customers with an alternative to traditional brick-and-mortar rental stores, eliminating the need to visit a physical location. As Netflix gained traction, it began to pose a challenge to Blockbuster's dominance. In the year 2000, a pivotal moment arose that would forever impact the trajectories of both Blockbuster and Netflix. Reed Hastings, the co-founder and CEO of Netflix, presented an audacious proposition to Blockbuster, a chance for the video rental giant to acquire Netflix for the seemingly low amount of $50 million. The response from John Antioco, Blockbuster's CEO at the time, was far from enthusiastic. In fact, he dismissed the offer and seemingly laughed off the idea during their meeting. Antioco perceived Netflix as a niche business, viewing it as insignificant in the grand scheme of the dot-com era. In hindsight, turning down that proposal appears rather foolish. With Netflix currently valued at around $190 billion, it could have been the deal of a lifetime. However, the situation was far more complex than it seems. Back then, Netflix had a modest income and its scale was relatively small. And it wasn't like Blockbuster had a spare $50 million just laying around. By simply looking at the numbers, the decision to decline seemed rational at the time. However, the heart of the matter was that Blockbuster wasn't able to foresee and adapt to the changing landscape of the entertainment industry. They presumed that everything would remain unchanged, dismissing the impact of the upcoming use of the internet. And the way they laughingly rejected this deal proved it. Ironically, the rejection of this acquisition offer would symbolize Blockbuster's demise. Instead of signing the deal with Netflix, they signed their own death warrant. As the 2000s unfold, the entertainment industry experienced substantial shifts that began to cast a shadow over Blockbuster's once thriving empire. The winds of change blew stronger, revealing the vulnerabilities in Blockbuster's business strategy and its inability to adapt to evolving customer preferences. The first cracks in Blockbuster's foundation emerged due to their beloved late fee strategy. Initially conceived as a means to generate extra revenue, this approach eventually started to backfire. Incremental late fees began to infuriate customers, especially when compared to competitors' flat fees. Responding to these protests, Blockbuster launched a massive advertising campaign announcing the removal of late fees. However, this move came at a cost, as late fees constituted a significant portion of their revenue. The absence of late fees resulted in customers keeping movies for extended periods. This led to fewer available titles for renting, leaving customers in the stores dissatisfied. Blockbuster's struggles were further compounded by a fresh wave of competition from retail giants like Walmart, Target, and Best Buy. The meteoric rise of DVD popularity prompted these stores to price DVDs at a loss, luring customers into their stores. This newfound affordability meant that buying DVDs became more appealing than renting, directly challenging Blockbuster's business model. Despite the shifting landscape, Blockbuster failed to recognize the change in customer behavior. As Netflix DVD rental by mail gained traction, Blockbuster clung to outdated beliefs. In a telling example, Blockbuster introduced its online rental service, Blockbuster Online, in 2004, a full 6 years after Netflix had started its DVD by mail service. The delay proved fatal, as the quick service seekers had already embraced competitors, leaving Blockbuster to play catch-up in an increasingly digital world. A misplaced vision plagued Blockbuster's ability to innovate. The board members steadfastly clung to the brick-and-mortar roots of the business, ignoring the industry's shifting dynamics and evolving customer preferences. This limited perspective stifled Blockbuster's capacity to embrace new opportunities and stay ahead of the curve. This absence of innovation became painfully clear in 2007, when a new era of entertainment emerged with the introduction of online streaming services. This innovation marked a significant shift in how people consume media, enabling them to enjoy movies and TV shows at their convenience without the need for physical rentals. While this technological leap held the promise of convenience and flexibility, Blockbuster once again found itself hesitating at the crossroads of change. Despite the rise of platforms like Netflix, Hulu, and later Amazon Prime Video, Blockbuster failed to seize the opportunity to adapt its business model to the evolving landscape. As the digital era gained momentum, the once mighty video rental giant faced obsolescence, unable to keep up with the swift pace of innovation and the shifting preferences of modern customers. Adding fuel to the fire, Blockbuster found itself trapped in a web of financial obligations. In 2004, the company encountered the daunting challenge of meeting a $5 special cash dividend for each of its shares, resulting in a substantial obligation. This compelled Blockbuster to take on an astounding $900 million loan. While taking substantial debt isn't uncommon for companies of this size, it's worth noting that Blockbuster had only experienced a handful of profitable years throughout its existence. With this new financial burden, Blockbuster now found itself submerged in a sea of debt and faced an increasing number of challenges. These circumstances would ultimately prove to be the final nail in Blockbuster's coffin. The changing landscape, coupled with Blockbuster's financial burdens, triggered a domino effect of store closures. The company's once iconic blue and yellow storefronts began to vanish from towns and cities across the world. The rapid decline in foot traffic and rentals led to a bleak reality for Blockbuster, forcing the closure of numerous stores that had once been bustling with movie enthusiasts. And finally, in the year 2010, the once thriving icon of the entertainment world filed for bankruptcy. This grim turn of events was accompanied by a staggering debt of nearly $1 billion. Blockbuster's fall from grace was the result of financial struggles, changing consumer behaviors, and the steadfast resistance of its leadership to embrace the changing landscape of the industry. But in the middle of the closures and financial chaos, one Blockbuster store remained, a lone survivor located in Bend, Oregon. This store, now recognized as the last Blockbuster on the planet, stands as a symbol of a bygone era. The store's survival was a testament to the loyalty of its local community. In a quirky twist that captured the irony of Blockbuster's decline, the last remaining store embraced its place in history by offering its space as a rental on Airbnb. People could book a stay in the Blockbuster store, reliving the nostalgia of browsing through movie aisles and selecting DVDs for a movie night. This was a brutal reminder of how consumer preferences had shifted. The idea that people were more inclined to spend a night sleeping within the store's wall than to rent a movie there mirrored the radical shift in entertainment consumption. And now, the prime days of Blockbuster's glory are nothing more than a cherished memory. The aisles that were once bustling with excitement stood empty, making way for new ventures to flourish. The unique feeling of stepping into a Blockbuster store surrounded by endless movie possibilities had faded into the past. With the demise of Blockbuster, a piece of nostalgia that held a special place in our hearts died with it, leaving behind a legacy that will forever be a part of our cultural history. It was the end of an era. But before we say our goodbyes, I want to ask you one more thing. What's your fondest memory of Blockbuster? Share your special memories with us and help keep the spirit of those days alive. Why don't we just have one more Blockbuster night? If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to us. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.